Welcome everyone. We're going to get into our conversation. Influencer marketing as a career. How can we help young people? How can we help small business owners to understand how this influencer marketing works? How does it work? So my name is Aaron Musoke. One thing is at Upskill, our job is to equip and make young people ready for the next digital economy. So equip young people with today's most in-demand skills and ready-to-work skills. So I hope you guys are excited to learn more about influencer marketing and how influencer marketing works. How do you become an influencer? How do you launch a campaign? How much money are these guys paid? So today's speakers, and I'm excited to introduce our speakers today. Bernard Ewalu Lupot. He's a blogger, he's a social media content creator, he's a digital marketer. He's also the director of communication and public relations at Sports Club Villa. He's also a former presenter at Touch FM. Our next speaker is Faizo Sesanga, AK Piper. So Faizo is a marketing manager at Tugure. Yeah, he has managed some really interesting hotels, Protea Hotel, Pearl of Africa. So why do businesses today use influencers? I'm going to give this to you, Faizo.
First of all, we are living in a world or an era right now that is it's highly connected. There's in terms of marketing, there's newspapers, there's magazines, there's radios, there's TVs. There's literally too much media to keep up with. Before it was radio, TV, newspapers, that's it. But now there are magazines. Now they'll tell you, oh, this campaign won't perform as well on newspapers as it might have done as a text message. So consumers have unlimited freedom and choice over the content they wish to view. They can literally either watch TV, listen to a radio, or just sit outside and watch maybe people pass by advertising all these types of goods. And it's a problem when it comes to brands and marketing. Your target audience is spread out. Some of it watches TV, some of it watches radio, some of it is not even into social media. You get, so you can only literally interact with them if you go for like social outings and all that. So consumers are becoming increasingly skeptical of brands and marketing tactics because there's marketing everywhere. I switch on TV, I see a DSTV ad. Radio, there's a DSTV ad. And then I walk out, I see a DSTV billboard. And in my head, I'm literally registering all that as spam. So you can see there's so much out there. And this is why it becomes so important for companies to focus on people who move other people, like people who are trusted in communities. You get, because billboards are billboards, they're all the same. They might say different things, but they're all the same. Personalities, on the other hand, are different, and people are drawn to different people. You get, some influencers are good, have let's say a wide knowledge base with regards to business. So obviously they're going to attract a lot of people who are into business because they look up to the influencer. Some people consider them a mentor. Yes, I'm a bank. I have this campaign that's really financially related, probably a loan scheme or something. But because of power this personality drives in the business space, I'm going to side with him because my target market is his following, which is not the case for a brand account. I might have a brand account, my Stanbic Bank, it has so many followers, but when it comes to engagements, it's different. People kind of take this thing of, if I'm engaging with a brand account, I don't know who's behind it. What if it's spam? What if it's an automated message? And so consumers, because of the fact that consumers have unlimited freedom and choice over content, this is where brands come in and decide, hey, look here, I now need to bring on someone who actually moves people, whose word of mouth cannot be underestimated when it comes to that
Yeah.
field. And for me, I feel like an influencer is someone who has the power to affect, let's say, the purchasing decisions of others due to, let's say, authority, knowledge, position, or their relationship with the audience.
All right. So just to bring in B-Wall into the conversation, many of our audience members here are interested in becoming influencers. In your opinion, B-Wall, what does it take to be an influencer? What are the traits? What should one do to build their personal brand? So that they're able to become an influencer.
Well, the same way you look at medicine as a vocation, you look at engineering as a vocation, you look at lawyering, you look at teaching as a vocation, and they ask you, what does it take for you to be a doctor? Obviously, there is the fact that you've got to love that thing, for starters. 2, you've got to allow yourself to be informed about that thing, right? 3, you've got to allow yourself to go through the motions, which means to grow organically, because you don't wake up one day and you're good at it. So if you translate this to influencer work, if you feel like you want to be an influencer, you've got to go through the motions, you've got to grow organically. And that means, no rush. People have this very horrible assumption that the day you learn about influencer marketing, you're like, oh shit, these guys make money. Tomorrow I want to be an influencer marketer. It doesn't work that way. And I would not like to discredit anybody who has attempts at becoming, an influencer or a person who kind of, I just want them to be realistic with themselves and honest with themselves that it takes hard work. So you want to become an influencer. First, start by being honest with yourself. Look within yourself. Have you ever influenced people around you to do anything? Forget about buying stuff. Have you ever influenced them to change a decision? Guys, where are we going to hang out tonight? You and a group of 10 people. Who makes the decision about where you're going to hang out? Do people pay attention to you anyway? Do they listen to you? Do they give you audience? This is before you even talk about the internet. Once you tick these little boxes, it's easier for you to seamlessly slide into influencer work on the internet. However, I also want to encourage anyone who may have lived a very sad, lonely, removed life. You might be thinking, oh shit, I don't think I can be an influencer. You can. And the advantage that people today have is that you can be one person offline and be somebody totally different online. But the thing that anybody else can do, if they don't have the personality offline, is they can create the personality online. Be this sociable person, this person who can be talked to, somebody who is friendly, somebody who is informed and can inform others. You can do that. You can create that persona, and I know very many influencers who have done that successfully. Offline, they are insufferable human beings. They are intolerable, but online, they're charming, they're kind, they're awesome. So you can do that as well. And then 2, obviously, you've got to engage with people. If you want to be the person who is seen as a friendly, approachable person, engage with people. You can't expect to post once on Twitter every month and think that you can be an influencer. It doesn't work that way, because even when the clients come looking for you, they want to see that you're engaging people, right? So get online. Talk about things that people can relate to. Have you been vaccinated? People relate with individuals who are human online. And then obviously you've also got to inform as much as you're willing to be informed. And this is something that very many people who would be influencers get wrong. That when you get online, and assuming you want to be an influencer, you want to inform people, you want to give people information, but you should also allow yourself to receive that information. And of course, read a lot. Inform yourself. Read about what's happening. Know that there's a platform called Snapchat. Know what happens on LinkedIn. Understand how YouTube works. Understand how web analytics work. Understand how Twitter works. Find out what's up with Facebook. As in, learn all these things. When you know all these things, chances are when a client approaches you and they want you to do a campaign for them, they will ask you all these questions without necessarily wanting you to do any work for them on Snapchat, but just to know that you are in that ecosystem where you understand digital as a whole. So once you know all these things, becoming an influencer becomes kind of it's second nature. It's seamless. It's organic, for lack of another word.
For people out there looking for opportunities, how does one then go out to find these opportunities to work with companies and brands that are looking for influencers to market their products?
Approach clients directly, but with a plan. Make a pitch, share it to your friends, get feedback, get criticism, act on it, and then tell people, and then go back, share the pitch. It's one way of getting the job. A second way is through referrals. I mean, the digital marketing is digital, so it's easy to refer someone. The other way is through social events. As an influencer, it's all about influencing people, right? So there's no way you can avoid social circles.
Which industries are really looking for influencers to market their businesses? And also, just to talk about whether, in your opinion, the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent internet tax has affected, it's only been a few weeks, but how has it affected in any way the demand for influencer marketers like yourself?
Obviously, the pandemic has affected everyone, and influencers are no exception. We've been affected in so many ways because when a company has been hit by this pandemic and they are looking to cut down on budgets, there are so many places they pull the plug from. And if they've been paying you $500,000, they're thinking, okay, let's pay this guy a bit less so that we can spread our expenses and costs, across the company. So we've also been affected quite a number of ways. However, on the other side, the flip side, there are very many companies now that are getting online, which means yes, a number of them are pulling the plug on reducing budgets, but a good number of them are again plugging in. The budgets might be small, but there are more people getting online. Because if you can't leave the house, where else are you going to go? You've got to go to the internet. If companies cannot, do door-to-door or outdoor marketing, they've got to think about how to, use the internet. So that the pandemic has been both bad and good. The truth is, every industry is searching for influencers. That I will tell you confidently. Obviously, measuring success, that can be looked at in a number of ways. 2 ways to be specific. From the client side, there's 2 ways they look at it. One is direct return on investment. So we've put money into this guy to go and make noise about our brand. Is it translating in sales? Are we, are more people walking into our shop, or are more people buying our brand, or are more people kind of, asking us about where they can get our product or our service? That's one. 2 is in the perception that people start to have about the brand. That, okay, so this guy, we've got him on board and he's now talking about our brand. How are people relating? Are people getting more comfortable talking about it? Are people now, kind of wrapping their arms around us? They may not necessarily be giving us their shillings yet, but are they now kind of embracing the conversation? Are they sliding it into their everyday discussion? Has it become something that that is not looked at as that brand, but they look at it as, oh, this brand, is it now part of their lives? So those are the 2 measurements for me.
Thank you so much, B-Wall and Piper.